Hey guys, Luke with Luke's Coin Art here, and today we're going to make a Morgan silver dollar coin ring. We're going to use this 1921 Morgan, 90% silver, and we're going to use the Swedish Die Technique to do that using the Swedish dies. So let's go ahead and get started here. First thing I'm going to actually do is punch a hole right in the center of this guy. So using my center punch, I'm going to punch a 3/8 inch hole, which is a really tiny hole actually. Generally I wouldn't recommend this size hole, but I want to have the full word Liberty on the outside of this ring from her headband. So I'm hoping that the final outcome will be similar to this, but only fatter. We're gonna make it not as skinny, so it'll fit on a bigger finger. Right now it'll fit on my pinky, but I have kind of bigger fingers. But we're gonna go for this look here, and you can see the whole word Liberty. Where is it? Oh, there we go. So I did the same process to make this one. This one's been antique. So that's the final look we're going to go for. Want to make sure that your center punch is dead even, or you're going to have some issues with having an oblong ring. And luckily I have the proper rings that will help make the center punch perfect. Let me go ahead and raise you guys up a little bit here so we can see what's going on exactly. Alright, we're going to use a 6-ton press today. Oh, my sunglasses are not going to work. I need my goggles. Perfect. Alright, so we punch the center out there. Can't get the focus, but I only have one hand right now. So what that did was punched a perfect center in the coin. Now I need to pop this out. So I'm going to set it between these two plates here, and using just a small steel rod, I'm going to pop it out. Alright, there we go. Got a perfect centered hole and a Morgan dollar now. Okay, so now what I need to do is heat and anneal this coin so that we can start folding it. To do that, I'm going to give it about almost a minute under the flame. That'll soften the metal so that we can play with it. Just to give you an example of what happens if you don't heat and anneal, you will get a shattered coin like that. Luckily that wasn't from me not heating and annealing, that was just because it was I don't know what kind of metal it was, to be honest with you. Something non-silver. After a while you get a feel for how long you need to hold it under the flames. You kind of get a different colored flame there. You get a green flame. Alright, so we're going to go back to the press now. And using a stabilizing die, it has a small lip around the edge made for the Morgan dollars. You want to make sure that you have the proper side up, because that's going to be the inside of the ring once we start this process. And in this case it's going to be the tail side. So now we've got this ring in, or the coin in the die. We are ready to press down. I'm going to start with a stabilizing cone, which is this guy here. And that's going to start opening this hole up a little bit for me, so that we can start using other cones and start widening the finger hole here. So again, we're at the 6-ton press. I'm going to give it about 5 pumps down. I don't want any metal on metal contact other than the edge of the coin and where that die is actually touching the center hole. So that's as far as I want to go with this. As you can see, we haven't had any metal on metal contact other than right at the base down there and the sides of the coin. And that opened the hole up and started the coning process. It opened it up just enough to where I can fit my smallest cone in there to continue folding this coin. So I'm going to put it back in the same die I was using. I'm going to put the cone in as level as I can with my eyeballs. Put a little spacer in there so I don't have to go as far down. Now you want to be careful that you watch your coin and everything, because it did shift when I went to push down. I wasn't perfectly level there. So doing that, it would have made a really oblong coin ring. So just watch what you're doing at all times. Make sure you're level. And I can feel the coin starting to give me some tension. Doesn't feel as soft as it did. So I'm going to go ahead and heat and anneal it again. As you can see, we've got more of a cone shape going right now, which is what you want. Ideally, we want to have it perfectly set inside of this piece here. So that's our initial goal. So let's go back to heating and annealing real quick. Bring you guys a little closer here. Kind of see the flame. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but right now it's got an orange and blue color coming off the coin. Kind of a dead giveaway that it's about ready is when it starts getting green, when it starts coming off. Kind of an orangish green like it is starting to do now. So that green color kind of lets you know that you've heated it up enough. Alright, turn you back around again. Get you close to the vise here. I'm going to switch basically using the same die. It's just not a stabilizing die, so it doesn't have that little ring around it. Set the coin in level. And we're going to go probably to the next size cone. As long as the base of the cone goes through the hole, you're okay. If it doesn't fit, you want to stick with the push rod or the cone that you had before until that hole's big enough to where the next size cone can fit through the hole. Alright, sometimes you gotta kind of pop that out there. As you can see, we are now more cone shaped and we're getting closer to where we want to be. Again, my main objective is to keep Liberty there intact, and you can't really tell, but it is, the whole word Liberty is still there. I think we're still soft enough to go one more step with this, and that's the next size cone up, which is this bigger guy. Make sure everything's level. Very, very important. Now you can see there's still some room that we can open this up, but I can feel the tension really giving, so I'm going to heat and anneal again. It's best to do this as often as possible. I kind of do it less when I'm doing video just to save time, but you really screw a coin up if you don't do it as often as you should. So you can't do it enough, so if you question if you should do it again, go ahead and do it again. Alright, there we go. Let's turn you back around again. Back to the vise. That lighting sucks. Okay. Let's see what I should use. So I'm going to go down a die size to a 1.4 inch 17 degree die. And I'm going to stick with the same third size up cone, this guy here, because I'm still not wide enough at the hole to put the largest size in, which is your last one you're going to use. So you can still see there's just a small gap around the pusher. You want to suck that up ideally, but to do that we're going to go up one more size. I have a little plumber's tape around this one, and we're going to go down just the tiniest amount, not much at all, just to where it sucks up. And actually that doesn't fit quite right in there yet, so I need to push one more push down with this guy, the old die. So before I go to that last one, I'm going to do this one more half push. So I'm still using the third size up push die. And actually, I might actually be there with just this one here. Yeah, there's really no more room to go. We are coned up Even if I went with the bigger size up, there's nowhere it can push to. It's already to the edge. So that's as far as we can go with the first step. We've got a cone, we've got the shape we want. Now we need to heat anneal this and go to the ring stretcher to flare out this side here, the cut side. Alright, now we're actually going to go over to the ring stretcher here. Try to get that lighting in the background fixed, but for now it's going to have to work. Alright, so now we got to flare out the more closed sided end, and to do so I'm going to put it on the ring stretcher and stretch it out until it's as close to the other side as I can get it. It's going to take a few tries here, because I don't want to do it all too fast or you're going to split a seam or something. So you want to heat and anneal when you get about halfway through. Now I'm at about a 10. And this is a workout too. So that's as far as I want to go before putting it back on the stretcher. Flared it out a little bit, not a ton, but we're going to go back heating and annealing, then we're going to come back to the stretcher, finish out the flaring process, and then we're going to go to the Swedish wrap technique to finish this up. And one hint too, the better the detail of the coin you start with, the better finishing detail you're going to have as well. If your coin's completely rubbed down and you have very little detail, once you're done stretching and shrinking and all that, the detail will be lost. So you want to just make sure that you have a pretty good detailed coin to start with. Alright, let's go one more time to the ring stretcher. And we will finish this process here. I use these flip coin pieces. I wrap them around so there's no metal on metal contact. It saves the inner detail of your coin. Dang, it's a workout. So right now, it's at about a size 11.5. I think I'm going to want to go up just a little bit further. Get it to about a 12. All right. So there we go. We have kind of flared it out. You can kind of see how it's cylindrically, it's not quite as cone shaped anymore. We flared this top part up. So now the objective is to shrink this side down to this size. So to do that, we're going to go to the Swedish wrap technique. But one last time, I need to heat and anneal this coin. And I believe this will be the final time. This is a 1921 Morgan silver dollar. And it will be a cool coin ring when it's done. Super cool. Alright. Final heating and annealing step. Alright. So now we just go back to the press for this final step, which is basically we're taking a Swedish die, which has a small degree incline there. We're going to take this, put it in reeded side up, which is the larger side, and push it down, and that's going to elongate the coin and get it to about this size here. So I think I definitely want to use some plumber's tape to wrap the coin. That protects the metal on metal contact still. It's your most important thing you want to do. If you guys ever find like cheap coin rings on any of the sale sites, you see a $5.99 coin ring, double check that the quality's there, because the inner detail won't be there. The ring stretcher they use might be cheap. It's all about quality with this stuff, guys, from start to finish. So I have to just push this down a little bit in here so that it'll be small enough to fit in the next size down. And to do so, I'm going to use a push rod, and I'm going to hit the reeded side and just push it down. Just want to make sure that you got as much of the coin being touched by the push die so that you're not off a little bit and you're only pushing part of the coin down. I'm not going to get very far with this. We're almost to the bottom. It's as far as it'll let me go. And we will go to the next size die down. I mean, like you can see, it barely even pushed anything down. It just kind of pushed the plumber's tape down. So it'll fit flush on the top of this one now, and that'll give us some control too. So as you can see, we are flush with the top of this next die. Make sure we're center on the reeds. It's only going to let me go halfway down before I have to turn the push die around. But we're going to see where we're at on this ring real quick, because we might be pretty close to our target, which we are. So right now you can see it is pushing this side down. You can see the detail of the coin coming through the plumber's tape. So you can see the 1921 and all the stars. So we're going to go one step further in the same die. And we're going to go probably about halfway down with the other side of the push die, trying to keep an ideal target size of about a size 12 ring. And if I go too much further down, it will be too small. So that's where we're at now. It is super close to where we want it, but I just need to go a tad bit further. Just a tiny bit further. I can really feel the tension of the ring changing from not being heated and annealed. So ideally you'd heat and anneal it again, but we're just one push away from being done. I'm going to turn it around now and put it in the die upside down after I give it half a wrap here. Actually, you know what? Let's heat and anneal this again. I'd hate to be this far along and then screw it up. Just let me unwrap it from the plumber's tape, show you where we're at. We'll heat and anneal one more time and then finish this up. We're about 2 minutes away from being done. Come on, tape. Alright, so this is where we are right now. Real close, but you can still see that there's a little flatness going on right here. So I'm going to push it in a little bit further to where we won't have any issues when we're done. Back to heating and annealing, and this is the very last time here. Again, we're doing this process. There has been basically zero metal on metal contact to the inside or the outside of the coin, other than the very edge and the cut point. There's all the detail of this coin is left intact. It's all there. It's going to be a beautiful ring when it's done. We are just about there. I will polish it all up and everything on video so you guys can see final product as well. Probably put a little antiquing to it. So again, this is where we are. I'm going to wrap this one more time really quick in plumber's tape. I do that on my lap. It's super quick and easy for me. You want to wrap it about 4 times total around the coin. Alright, back in the same die, the same way we had it before, with the reeded side up, and we're probably just going to push it down maybe two more pumps. I don't want to go too far down. Just trying to make this to where I can flip it around and we're level on all sides. Alright, so that's where I want to be. So you want to kind of keep an eye on how much room you left there. It's about 3/4 of an inch. That's how much I want to leave when I'm done. Because now I'm going to flip this around, go in like so, and that should make both ends the same size. But to do so, I want to go down the same amount I did before. Which means I'll have to push this all the way down. Flip it around and then go down to where I have just about 3/4 of an inch on the top, and then we will be done with the ringing process, and it's just cleaning it up, making it look good, and sizing it. So again, I want to go down till I have about 3/4 of an inch. Right there. So when I pop this out, we should have a perfectly sized, or a perfect ring shaped coin, and it should look awesome. So let's take a look together. So there we go. The shape is what we want. It now looks like a ring. It needs to be cleaned up and polished up, antiqued a little bit, which I'm going to do for you guys real quick. So I'm going to pause this and be right back.